Welcome to another exciting episode of Ancient Anecdotes powered by Listen Cub. This is your host, Ramanathan Iyer.
And this is Niti Ramanathan.
And this is Lalita Ramanathan.
Hey, wait up! Don't run towards the sea so fast. The waves are so strong.
Woohoo! Appa, the water is awesome!
Kandi kadirgama kanda.
Appa, woo! The Thiruchendur is so awesome. The sea is awesome. The wind is awesome. Everything is awesome. The Pallava Shiva temple at Thiruchendur is also super awesome.
That's a really sharp observation.
What is?
That you were immediately able to get that the two temples at two different places are built the same way, that they have things in common. It's a really sharp observation.
It was?
Yes, you got 2 points right. You thought that the temple here looked like the one in Mamallapuram, isn't it? The shore temple at Mamallapuram was built by the Pallava kings, and so is this temple. The Mamallapuram temple was built by Narasimhavarman the first in the 6th century, and the Thiruchendur temple was built a century later by his son Narasimhavarman II. Later in the 12th century, a Chola king called Kulothunga Cholan added the pillars to the temple and made it look even more beautiful.
Appa, we have taken a bath in the sea water. Where are we going now?
We are heading to the Nari Kinar, the fresh water well near the shore.
Okay, but I already took a bath in the sea. Isn't that enough?
Grandad used to tell us that the Kaumara tradition talks about bathing in the seawater first and then the well next. The Shaiva tradition dictates that we first take bath in the well and then in the sea. Anyhow, we just ensure we do both the waters in whichever order. We are now headed to the well.
Appa, you said that this is a well. Why is the water a little salty here as well? Is it the same seawater here as well?
So, the Kshirakunda lake was formed from Lord Vishnu's tears. And so, it is a little salty. But it doesn't match the strong saltiness in the seawater. Now, there is also a science behind this. Did you know that there are large plates of earth underneath where we stand now? As these huge plates move, the seawater enters into the land. Sometime in the past, the seawater advanced into the shore and covered the place where the Kshirakunda was present. To ensure that the waters of the Kshirakunda are still available to the people after the seawater enters the shores, the clever Pallava rulers built a system of stone canals to connect the waters of the Kshirakunda. They built a strong well deeper inside the coast and ensured that the canals connected the waters to the Kshirakunda and the well. So even if the seawater again encroached into the mainland in the centuries to come, the well which is inland would still be intact with the waters from the holy Kshirakunda centuries later as well.
Oh, that's the reason we bathe in this afterwards, is it?
Well, afterwards is just an order. Tomatoes. We bathe here in the well as it is believed to hold the waters of the Kshirakunda, the sacred place where the great Kadru came in the first age to wash her sins of deceit. The Thiruchendur sea was rendered pure because of the war with Surapadman in the second age. The idea is that we honor both water bodies. The Kaumara tradition favors the sea, since Surasamharam happened there. The Shaiva tradition favors the Kshirakunda, since it believes that's what happened first.
Appa, I have a question. I know that Kadru cheated Vinata into believing that Uchashrava's tail was black.
Right?
She got Uchashrava's tail covered using her black son Karkotaka.
Correct. Poor Vinata was enslaved to Kadru for 1,000 years. Kadru received a punishment called Apadarshanam, the sin earned due to a deception. Since Kadru was tainted with this sin, even her own husband, sage Kashyapa, didn't want anything to do with her. In time, Kadru overcame the effect of the sin by taking a bath here in the Kshirakunda and was then accepted into the Kashyapa household afterwards. But what is your question?
Appa, how did Vinata get her freedom? Who told Kadru to come here to this lake? Who told her that she can wash away the sins of cheating her sister?
Very nice questions these are. Come, I will tell you the story as we walk to the room.
Appa, the sea breeze is making me feel cold. Is it a short story?
Once upon a time.
Appa, it's too slow.
Okay. Now listen up and pay attention. There'll be cross references between the Skanda Puranam and the Mahabharatam.
Okay, Pa.
The first scene of the story is well known. The earth has just recovered from the Great Pralaya. Back then, the population was not high. Sage Kashyapa performs a huge Putrakameshti Yajna for populating the earth. During this time, Kashyapa's son, Devendra, mocks his elder cousins, the teeny tiny Valakhilya rishis, who were sage Kratu's sons. This angers the small rishis, and so they complete sage Kashyapa's Putrakameshti Yajna with a surprise final ahuti. You remember all this, right?
Yes, Appa. Now get on with the story.
At the time, Vinata was still a slave of Kadru. The sages bestowed upon Kashyapa's wife, Devi Vinata, a divine prophecy, decreeing the birth of a son whose fame and prowess would eclipse even that of Indra, the illustrious lord of the Devas. Destined to be the sovereign of the skies, a celestial ranger would be born. Vainateya, he would be called, the son of Vinata. He would go on to outdazzle the luminous and formidable glory of Indra himself. But all things come in good time. Vinata's wait for the augured son endured a span of 1,000 years, during which time Vinata's sister Kadru and her sons, the radiant snakes, held Vinata as a slave, forcing her to do their bidding. Eventually, Vinata's patient wait bears fruit and she gives birth to Vainateya. Nature obeys the blessings of the Valakhilya rishis, and so the magnificent Vainateya's strength is obvious from the very beginning. His huge wings allow him to fly across the realms without any effort, where other beings would really struggle to move to. Alas, since his mother was a slave to Kadru and the snakes, Vainateya is also expected to do their bidding.
My dear Vinata, somewhere amidst the vast ocean lies a beautiful secluded realm called Ramaniyaka, where the Nagas and I wished to reside. I command you to take me there.
Kadru stated haughtily, leveraging her dominance over the subdued Vinata. Ataham Vinatam Kadruhu Pranatamati Chetinaagalayam gantum udyogo mama vartate Tvatputro garudo tomam matputramscha vahadviti tatascha vinatam putram garudam pratyabhashata aham kadrumimam vakshe Tvam sarpan vahatatsutan tatheti garudo matuhu pratyagrihnad vachodvijaha अवहत्विनता कद्रूं सर्वास्ताङ्गरुडो वहत् रविसामीप्यगाः सर्पाः तत्करैराहतास्तदा अस्तौ शीद्वज्रिणः कद्रूः सुतानां तापशान्तये सर्वतापं जलासारैर्दवाराजौप्यशाम्यत नीयमानास्तदा सर्पा गरुडेन बलीयसा गत्वा त्वं देशमचिरात् वदन् विनता सुतं वयं द्वीपान्तरं गन्तुं सर्वे द्रष्टुं कृतत्वराः वहत्वं स्मान् गरुडचेटिसुत तत्क्षणात् ततो मातरं प्राक्षीद्विनतां गरुडो द्विजाः अहं कस्माद्वहामि मांस्त्वं चेमां वहसे सदा. Vinata lifted the mother of the snakes onto her shoulders. Guided by his mother's instructions, Garuda too took the snakes on his back. Then the majestic bird born from Vinata started his journey upwards, aiming for the sun. But as they got closer, the intense heat from the sun's rays overwhelmed the snakes, causing them to faint. Seeing her children in distress, Kadru called out to Indra for help.
Wait, Pa. So, Vainateya or Kashyapeya and Garuda all refer to the same celestial raptor, is it?
Yes. Kadru prays to Indra for help. Obliging his aunt's request, Indra called out in response.
O Varuna, let the sky fill with blue clouds.
The sky was soon covered with them. He then commanded the clouds.
O clouds yonder, let's have you shower down some life-giving rain.
And as if on cue, the clouds, now flashing with lightning and booming with thunder, started to pour rain like never before. The cool showers gave respite to the scalded and suffering snakes. Soon the earth was awash with water, filling even the deepest crevices and creating waves upon waves across the land. Garuda laid the Nagas on an island called Ramaniyaka. Kadru, confident that their sons were safe, left to Swarga. Meanwhile, in this paradise, the snakes began to revel in their freedom. One day, they turned to Garuda, the lord of the birds, and said,
"Take us to another beautiful island with clean waters. As a sky roamer, you must know of many such places."
अस्माद्दास्याद् विमोक्ष्यार्थं किं कार्यं ते मयाधुना इति पृष्टा सेतुनाथ विनता तमभाषत. सर्पान् पृच्छस्व गरुड मम मातृविमोक्षणे युष्माकं मातुः किं कार्यं मयेति वदताधुना. इति मात्रा समुदितो गरुडः पन्नगान् प्रति गत्वात् पृच्छद्विजश्रेष्ठास्तेऽप्येनम् अवदंस्तदा. यदा हरिष्यसे शीघ्रं सुधां त्वममरालयात् दास्यान्मुक्ता भवेन्माता वैनतेय तवाद्यहि. ततो मातरमागम्य गरुडः प्रणतोऽब्रवीत्,
Sudhamambamamanetum gacchato bhakshamarpaya Itirita sutam praha matatam vinata sutam Samudramadhye vartante shabhara katichit sutam.
The mighty Garuda was young, and although obedience to his mother came naturally to him, servitude was something he didn't understand. The sharp sting in the Naga's sneering voices was not lost on him. Pondering the request, Garuda sought his mother Vinata's advice, asking, "O mother, I don't understand why you tolerate Aunt Kadru's haughtiness and the venomous jeer in my cousin's words. If their words thus pain my free spirit, I just can't imagine how you must be suffering. Why? Why do you keep quiet, O mother dearest? Why must we follow the snake's commands?" Vinata replied, her voice heavy with sorrow.
My dear Kashyapeya, due to unfortunate circumstances, I have become the slave of my sister. I was tricked into a wager. I lost, and now I am bound to your aunt and her children.
Understanding his mother's plight, Garuda, heart heavy with sadness, confronted the snakes. "O brothers, what must I do, or learn, or conquer to free my mother from your bondage?" The snakes sneered.
Free her? Ha! Never will it happen. The cost of freeing Aunt Vinata is to perform an impossible task.
"Tell me, O brothers, I am ready to do anything," Garuda persisted.
The celestial ambrosia was filtered from the great churning of the milk ocean. Most of it was distributed to all the devas due to Lord Mahavishnu's unfair, cunning ruse, and by divine decree, we never got a share. All of it was distributed to the devas. At least that's what we thought,
said the snakes. I am not sure I follow. Can you please explain what you are getting at?" Garuda asked.
So you see, dear brother, the churning of the great ocean for the divine nectar happened because the Indradi Devas lost their immortality to sage Durvasa's curse. Knowing his own ways, Devendra realized there may be yet another lapse in his judgment in the future as well, and he might again lose his immortality. So Indra decided to secretly save the last remnants of the nectar to recover if that happens. We recently came to hear that a last portion of the nectar still remains in Devendra's custody in his capital city, Amaravati, which is his fortress, far from prying eyes. The pot containing the last few precious drops of Amritam lies beyond the access of mortal and nether beings alike. It is guarded heavily. Fetch us the nectar of immortality by force. If you manage to do this daunting task, then, O mighty bird, you may consider you and your mother be released from servitude.
The young snakes laughed hysterically as the eldest snake completed his request. They knew that the task was impossible, but their hissing laughter was not lost on young Vainatheya. You see, Vainatheya never knew the meaning of the word fear or impossibility. The snakes suffered from Jiveshna, a paranoia of meeting with death inevitably, and so they demanded the holy ambrosia from Vainatheya. Although they were the people who were in a superior position, it was the young Vainatheya's spirit that shone with valor and righteousness. He took the blessings of his mother. As he fell at her feet, Garuda's stomach rumbled noisily with hunger. Both Vinata and Garuda looked at each other surprised. Vinata laughed and advised Garuda.
My dear Kashyapeya, listen carefully. The Nishadas who sided with Kartaviryarjuna in the fight against Parashurama fled the battlefield to escape from Parashurama's vengeance. Being Kshatriyas, they failed to do their dharma twice. Firstly, to stop Kartavirya from harming Jamadagni, and secondly, to stand and fight the battle on the side they were allied to. And hence, they were cursed to lead an unspiritual aboriginal life. There were no enlightened masters to help them come back to the path of dharma. It is said that even if one child is born to them, their cycle of ignorance would continue. You are anyhow hungry. Consume them all. Sate your hunger and liberate them.
Appa,
Yes, Papa.
where is the Kirata Kshetra?
It is in present-day Sikkim. In the Skanda Puranam, it is indicated that the island of the Nishadas and the Shabaras joined with the mainland of India as tectonic forces pressed the Indian subcontinent to the Asian plate, resulting in the formation of the Himalayan ranges. The village of Namchi has a Kirateshwara statue in the Char Dham temple, which exalts Shiva, who came down as Kirata hunter and fought with Arjuna during Arjuna's quest for the terrible Pashupatastra.
Oh wow! I remember the tall statue at Chardham temple in Namchi.
Right. Anyhow, back to the story. Garuda received the location details of where his lunch would be, and so he sprang to the skies with such force that the earth shook. Story has it that he consumed the Nishadas, but Garuda was still hungry. It is said that after this, he was advised by his father, the great Kashyapa Prajapati, to consume huge animals in an island called Vilamba. It is said that he also meets the small Valakhilya rishis in that island and gets their blessings. His hunger is finally sated, and Garuda makes a beeline for Amaravati, the capital city of the Devas. The arrival of Garuda at Amaravati is nothing short of legend. As Garuda tore through the energy layers that separate the earthen realms from Swarga, vibrations reached Amaravati immediately.
Whoa, wait.
What happened, Papa?
Garuda was born as in he was of this world, isn't it?
Yes, he hatched from Vinata's egg.
And he is not dead or not a Maharishi with siddhis like teleportation or time travel like Narada.
Yes, that would follow. Why do you ask?
Well, Thiruchendur is also of this world and he tried to reach Swarga through the merits of Vishwamitra. But Indra was able to send him back, isn't it? How is Garuda able to tear through the separates of two realms like it was nothing?
Well, I'm not telling it's not a valid question. But hey, the answer is quite obvious, isn't it? Think about it. Firstly, Thiruchendur did not directly descend from a Prajapati, last I checked. And secondly, Kashyapa Prajapati and the Valakhilyas had granted Garuda strength beyond Devendra, isn't it? Ikshavaku Putra Thiruchendur had to take the venerable and the Tapobala Ghana Vishwamitra for such feats. Otherwise, mortally, he was nothing even in the vicinity of Garuda's prowess. Plus, Thiruchendur was greedy to take his body to Swarga. That was his intention. Garuda, on the other hand, or on the other wing in this case, had no other thoughts other than,
I know. Free his mother from the clutches of savory. I get it now. But please go on.
anyhow, the arrival of Garuda at Swarga was legend. Brihaspati, the guru of the Devas, could feel the impinging force from the best among the birds. Beware, Shaktra! The cause of your defeat arrives on wings. Kashyapeya is here for war. Prepare for the worst, warned Brihaspati.
Garuda is awesome! Exclaimed Vayu.
Devendra was conflicted at not being able to decide on what to be shocked about. He decided to ignore Vayu and turn to Guru Brihaspati.
O venerable sage, it is impossible for beings born on earth to cross over Swarga. You are telling me that this Kashyapeya is strong enough to break that energy barrier that separates the realms? And you are telling me that my own brother is preparing for war? How did he get this strength? What do you see, O revered Guru? What is his mission? Why does he come to the gates of Amaravati with so much enmity?
Brihaspati closed his eyes again and slowly opened them with an amused smile. You are the cause for his strength. Come on, don't look so surprised. Your arrogance over your size and strength and the mockery of the Valakhilya rishis has resulted in Devi Vinata getting a son of such stature. He is here to liberate his mother Vinata from the treachery of his sister Kadru's enslavement. He comes for the amphora of Amritam that you guard so dearly.
Garuda is awesome, Vayu chimed in.
Indra managed to hold his resolve and focus only on Brihaspati's words.
Oh God, will he succeed in his mission? Please tell me, O Gurudeva, how do I defeat him?
You don't. In fact, you don't ask any more questions. Quick, you have no time to lose. Garuda has already arrived at your gates. Suit up your armor and meet him in combat. Your responsibility to safeguard Amaravati and your Amritam is still looming large in front of you. Brihaspati urged Indra to his feet and slid the handle to the Vajrayuda in Indra's hands. Indra's fingers were limp from the sheer shell shock.
He has already reached Amaravati? You told me seconds back that he has just entered Svarga. What magic is this? What speed is he traveling at?
You have to see this, O mighty Shaktra. What speed is not the question you should be asking. Look at his size. Agni turned from the nearby window with an agitated expression writ large on his face. Varuna ran to the window and all he could manage was a gasp. All the devas looked devastated and turned to Indra.
I told you, Garuda is awesome! Exclaimed Vayu again.
Indra shook himself back to reality and swallowed the fear rising to his mouth.
It doesn't matter, my brothers. We have to safeguard our quarters. To arms!
Soon, Garuda was looking with surprise at the regiment that Indra had mustered for the defense of Amaravati. From what he could understand, a teeny tiny, kutti and cute army of divine beings were actually attacking him. But their weapons and missiles seemed to not affect him at all. Even the size of the army was surprisingly meager at best. After a completely futile onslaught, Agni and the Devas pleaded with Indra and tried to install reason into him.
He hasn't attacked us at all. He is just standing there. Whatever be his intentions, we are the people who have opened the fire on him without provocation. I think we should speak to him first. I am sure he is very reasonable.
They all said. Vayu stepped forward to tell something, but being able to predict what Vayu would have told, Indra agreed hastily. With great reverence, he first asked the great bird to reduce his size, his stature, and his brilliance so that the Devas may adore him more personally.
O greatest among birds, please do tell us, what is the purpose of your visit to Amaravati? Why have you thus graced our humble abode?
I am Kashyapeya. I have come here on one mission only, to rid my mother from the slavery of the snakes and Auntie Kadru. The snakes need a sip of the great Amritam, the celestial nectar, which you hold in your possession in the city, I heard. I have come to take this. Garuda said. Indra persisted.
You are immortal, mighty, and undefeatable in war. Why would you possibly need the Amritam?
Brother Indra, your weapons will never harm me. 1,000 Indras can't harm me. I need the Amritam because my cousins, the Nagas, have demanded it. They have enslaved my mother deceitfully. I need the Amritam so that in return, my mother Vinata can be rid of the oppressive slavery she has been unjustly met out for so many years. Garuda completed silently, but the embers of his determination in his voice made his sonorous voice spark and thunder. Indra's heart sank. He knew that he had no way of defeating Garuda and was actually happy for a moment when he realized that he was actually Indra's half-brother. But when he heard that Garuda was here for the one thing he held more dearly than anything else, his precious insurance, the last drops of nectar, Indra was aghast and hapless.
O Kashyapeya, brother dearest, the Nagas are wicked by nature and hence denied the nectar. Lord Narayana himself ordained that only the Devas will be given the nectar. If the nectar is for you, then that's another story, and I would gladly give any remnants of the ambrosia. But if you're taking this to the Nagas, we have no other go but to go to war with you, since protecting the balance of the universe is far more important than even our nearest and dearest,
said Indra sadly. Garuda had a twinkle in his eyes. Oh, that's wonderful actually. I hear two important sentences that might quite interestingly be our solution. You say you would gladly give me the Amrita. And two, you don't want the Nagas to actually consume the Amritam. Right?
Yes, which is why war is inevitable with you. What? Why are you smiling? Am I missing something here?
Indra looked suitably puzzled. But I never said anything about making the Nagas drink the nectar. I am merely here to take the nectar from you and give it to them. You are then free to take it away from them before they get to drink it. Garuda giggled innocently.
Oh, mighty brother, I fail to understand.
Indra said haltingly. Oh, come on, catch up. See, I take the ambrosia from here and give it to the Nagas, and then I will ensure that there is a window of opportunity for the Devas to retrieve the ambrosia and bring it back here. Since the transaction of getting the Amritam is done, my mother's slavery is emancipated. And since you will retrieve the Amritam post facto, you are also back to status quo, and the Nagas also don't get to drink it. And so the balance of the universe and similar tough words such as balance and family and such like are upheld. What do you say? Garuda looked calm and happy.
Here, what an amazing plan! Garuda is awesome!
Exclaimed Vayu, and this time he was joined in his shout out to Garuda by Agni and Varuna as well. Actually, now Indra was also falling flat for his brother's sparkling personality. He was definitely happy, but he was also jealous of Garuda's indomitable strength and now his shining intelligence. The voice of his ego screamed louder than the cheering devas around him. Here, here! He heard his brothers continuing to exclaim.
Wait. We still have a fiduciary responsibility. We can't just give away the ambrosia without any resistance. We toiled alongside Lokanatha Janardana and almost got melted in the wake of the terrible Alahala poison. Have you all forgotten? Guru Brihaspati will not be happy. What will we tell him? What will he say if he hears that we have handed over the Amritam for someone who came from nowhere? Especially someone who wants it for the Nagas. What will he do to us if he realizes that we gave away the amphora without as much as putting up a fight?
Indra insisted. He wanted a second go at Garuda, obviously, and test him for his intelligence again. So he worded his predicament accordingly. Garuda, however, didn't lose his smile or the sharpness of his intelligence. Oh, lighten up. You guys can fire away whatever weapons you want. Make brother Agni here witness it, and then stand aside. The weapons aren't going to harm me. You know that. And I will take the amphora. That way, you haven't given anything away to me. You tried, and I succeeded. Won't that suffice?
Garuda is awesome, Vayu was telling, but Indra was deep in thought. He is good, thought Indra, but I am not done yet. That won't do, Indra said aloud. It can't be that we were defeated for the Amritam. We should have given it to you on our own accord.
Because of all the time with the Naga brothers, Garuda was by now conversant with what ego sounded like. He said, "Oh brother, you fire the Vajra with everything you have, and I will part with a single feather in return for it. Let it be that you defeated me, but you must part with the amphora of Amritam afterwards. Otherwise, like I said, I will take it and go." So legend has it that Indra concedes defeat to the great bird's startling intelligence. Indra releases his mighty Vajra on Garuda, but the boon of the Valakhilya Rishis shone strong, forming a formidable shield around Garuda, encapsulating the mighty bird in a divine aura. The Vajra simply bounced off the shield, having no effect on Garuda whatsoever. But Garuda was ready with his plumages. He plucked out a single feather from his body and threw it on the ground, signifying that the Vajra had injured him. Garuda went after Bhuvana, the Deva who guarded the Amritam. He trounced him in battle. There was a mechanical chakra that blocked the path to the amphora. Garuda made his body very, very small and escaped the blades of the mighty chakra. There were two huge serpents guarding the Amritam. Garuda overcame them with sheer strength and took the amphora. He then flew out of the enclosure with such force that the mechanical chakra broke. A cool breeze encompassed the heavens. Lord Narayana, the beloved of Kamala, appeared before the mighty bird.
O mighty Kashyapya, I am delighted by your prowess, your one-pointed focus to free your mother from the grips of slavery has overcome even the Sudarshana Chakra. I want to grant you a boon. Ask what you please.
Garuda was dazed. He felt a great devotion and love for this being automatically. Hey Madhava, let me never age and let me always be with you ever and ever, asked Garuda.
So be it. Now it's my turn to ask a boon of you. Will you be my Vahana? And will you adorn the flag of my chariot?
Garuda's eyes filled up with tears. Hey Purushottama, this humble life form is blessed beyond its merit. It would be my utmost honor to bear you forever and ever. As Lord Narayana blessed Garuda and vanished, Indra was waiting to meet Garuda before he left for Ramaniyaka.
We will come with you and stay hidden. When the time is right, we will retrieve the amphora and return to Amaravati.
Indra said. Garuda agreed. He took the amphora and carefully nestled it in his vast arms. Garuda then blasted off into the skies with a screech that was heard for miles. Vayu was starstruck. As usual, Vayu was about to open his mouth and tell something, but this time Indra finally turned to Vayu and warned him menacingly.
Not another word.
The Devas huddled together. With a blinding flash, they vanished from Amaravati. Garuda had already reached Ramaniyaka by this time. The entourage of Devas arrived there. The snakes were delighted at the sight of the amphora. They pounced on the nectar. Garuda firmly stopped them in their tracks. Not so fast. You first have to free my mother from the shackles of slavery. The haze of anticipation in the snakes shone bright.
Yes, yes. Both you and Aunt Vinata are hereby free.
They hissed. Karkotaka took the amphora and was about to put his hand into the amphora. Indra, who was watching the scene from afar, stiffened in alarm and was about to get up. Vayu held his hand and signaled him to pay heed to Garuda's ploy. Brother, are you going to just consume it? Garuda asked.
Yes. Why else would we have asked you to bring it to us?
Hissed Karkotaka. It is yours, you know. It is not going anywhere. Why should you behave like unevolved creatures like how the Devas taught you to be? The Amritam is a sacred nectar. It must be consumed with prayerfulness and sanctity. Leave it here under this palm tree. Cover it with some darbha leaves. And go and bathe and complete your ablutions. Then you may consume the nectar. Don't you think it is appropriate that way? Garuda said quietly. The Nagas hissed angrily.
What? The Devas called us unevolved? The nerve! we will consume the Amritam and lay waste to Amaravati. That ought to teach them,
said one of them.
Brother Garuda is right. Let us do this the right way so that we get all the strength. Come, let's go bathe.
Karkotaka asked Garuda.
Brother Garuda, will you watch over the Amritam for us while we bathe?
Garuda carefully crafted his reply. I really want to, O brother Karkotaka, but I need to go to Mother Vinata. She will be happy to hear the glad tidings that she is finally free. You just go and bathe. Nothing really will happen to the Amritam. The snakes believed Garuda and left happily to the cool waters around Ramaniyaka. Vayu finally removed his grip on Indra's hands with a smile. Indra was beside himself with joy at how Garuda had planned the entire conversation to the last syllable. He quickly retrieved the amphora from under the darbha leaves. A few drops fell on the leaves as this happened. After the serpents went to purify themselves with a sacred bath in anticipation of partaking in the nectar, Indra seized the opportunity to steal away the vessel of nectar. Upon returning, the serpents found the vessel missing. All they discovered was a few drops of nectar was still remaining on top of the darbha grasses on the ground. And in an attempt to taste what was left, they started to lick the grass. The sharp darbha grasses forked their tongues, and from that time onwards, the snakes came to be known as Dvijihvas, or double-tongued. The darbha grass itself was hallowed through its contact with the nectar, and that is why, to this day, darbha is used in all sacred pujas. Meanwhile, the Devas rendezvoused with Garuda. Purandhara Indra was all teeth and smiles with happiness.
Brother Garuda, I am so impressed at how you were able to achieve all you wanted without a single arrow being fired, without a single word of discord or war. I want to grant you a boon. Ask whatever you want.
Garuda simply answered, Brother Indra, I want nothing. I am the most happiest person in the universe since my mother is finally free. But the Nagas will soon realize that we have colluded to evade them of their share of the Amritam. There will be dissent and there will be enmity. You must grant me the permission to consume the snakes as my food hereon so that the war that follows doesn't earn me any demerits. Indra blessed Garuda with a boon to be able to consume the snakes in the future. And that is how eagles and birds of the same eagle family have always consumed snakes down the time. Garuda still had an axe to grind with Aunt Kadru. He turned to her with a silent resolve and cursed her. You who deceitfully enslaved your own sister will suffer the greatest pain of the householder. You will not be able to render any service to your husband, although you really want to. The fabric of existence trembled as the curse took firm hold. Kadru was drowning in a sea of tears, of sorrow. Her sister Vinata, however, didn't hold a grudge. She clasped her sister's hand and they travelled to Vilamba to seek the counsel of their husband, sage Kashyapa. He welcomed Vinata with a smile but turned away from Kadru. Vinata persisted. She fell at sage Kashyapa's feet and requested him to grant a means for sister Kadru to redeem herself. The sage half-heartedly consented and closed his eyes in deep meditation. His divine existence travelled the length and breadth of time itself. Finally, Kashyapa opened his eyes. In the far reaches of the southernmost part of Bharatavarsha is the sacred land of Pullagrama. Rishi Mudgala's faith and innocent devotion to Lord Narayana has caused the creation of a Tirtha Kshetra, a sacred water body called as Ksheerasarasa. Lord Narayana is said to have shed tears of happiness at the unwavering devotion of sage Mudgala. The sage has done the powerful ritual of Payohoma 2 times a day, every day of his life. The Tirtha holds the sparkling merits of all of the rituals that sage Mudgala has performed. The Tirtha, known as Ksheerasarasa, is revered for granting liberation. It holds the power to obliterate sins. A sacred dip in this Tirtha alone is enough to eradicate Kadru's transgression. Even 10,000 rites of atonement could not equal the purifying effect of a single immersion in that holy lake. Therefore, Kadru should journey to this Tirtha without further ado if she wants to redeem herself. Legend has it that Kadru took a human form and walked from Vilamba all across to the southern tip of the Indian subcontinent, covering thousands of kilometers, arriving after 90 long years to Pullagrama as an old woman. Temples around India have captured Devi Kadru walking across India. The Mannarsala temple of Alapura in Kerala and the Kukke Subramanya temple in Kumara Parvata in Karnataka are all examples of having stone carving and depictions of Mother Kadru walking across India to Pullagrama. The Naganatha Swami temple in Tirunageshwaram near Kumbakonam in Tamil Nadu also shows Kadru undergoing this momentous penance. Although an immortal, Kadru endures old age, disease, and tiredness for 90 years as a penance. She is then known to have arrived at the current day Tirunelveli and then taken a dip at the Ksheerasarasa. Vinata is overjoyed as the latent golden merits of all the Payohomas that sage Mudgala accumulated in his life rejuvenates Devi Kadru and imbues knowledge and devotion and restores her immortality. So that is how both Devi Vinata and Devi Kadru received their freedom.
Appa, what happened to the Nagas, Pa? Didn't they get angry and ask for a rematch or something?
There is such a story in the culture of the ancient Naga land that shows the retaliation of the Nagas on Garuda. Grandad has in fact told me such a story once.
What is it? Tell.
Hear it first on
Ancient Anecdotes.
on your favorite podcast streaming providers.
Tune in for a brand new episode.